The Supreme Court refusing to reduce the age of juveniles from 18 to 16, dismissing a plea that minors involved in heinous crimes should not be protected under the law. The court said there were exceptions, but not of proportions that warranted making a change in the law, and also observed that the Delhi gang rape case was an aberration. Well, joining us on that discussion tonight, Pinky Anand, Kiran Bedi. We're also being joined by Bipasha Roy of the Juvenile Justice Board, Kolkata. But Pinky, let me begin with you. The court today is saying that the Delhi rape case was an aberration. It wasn't the norm. Will the punishment, in a sense, fit the crime? I think that's the question everybody wants to know, particularly if there are extreme cases.
First of all, I mean, how many aberrations do we need before we consider change in a law? That would be a very crucial question. It's not only a question of one case. The question is, it's demonstrated the entire fallacy in this entire belief that you are talking about protecting a class to the detriment of the general public, to the detriment of Nirbhaya, who was gang raped and suffered most brutality at the hands of children. I think today we have to really reconsider this entire issue. What is a child? What is a crime? If a child or a juvenile, so to say, over the age of 16, over the age of 15, commits a heinous crime like gang rape or murder, or there was a case where a 14-year-old killed his grandmother because she stopped him from taking out money from her purse. So, if the offence is of such a nature that it requires punishment, is age a protector? Age cannot be a protector to that situation. You have to safeguard the primary interest, which is that of the state, the people who live in that state, the victims who are mostly women, more than anybody else as far as this is concerned. I think that is what is to be addressed.
Can age be a protector? Bipasha Roy, you're a member of the Juvenile Justice Board. You handle many such cases. How do you respond to the questions that are being raised today, particularly perhaps in the context of the Delhi gang rape case, which is, had so much attention on it? Let me just read out to you some of the sections that the minor accused in the Delhi gang rape case faces. They include homicide, gang rape, sodomy, criminal conspiracy, kidnapping for murder, dacoity, destruction of evidence, and at the end of the day, the strictest punishment can be 3 years in a special home.
Ankita, good evening. Today I am a very happy person because again Honorable Supreme Court has upheld the spirit of the Juvenile Justice Act by saying that no reducing of age. Delhi gang rape, I agree with the Supreme Court that it was an aberration, because being a member of the Juvenile Justice Board for 5 years, we see that in most of the cases we find that the children coming from impoverished background, they don't have the parental backup, neither the societal backup, and because of this they commit what they do. And altogether we have 252 cases with us right now in the Juvenile Justice Board, and amongst them we have 37 cases of molestation, sexual molestation, and in that we find that only 2 of them can be taken as as heinous crime, and rest of them are only sexual molestation, where it can go as attempt to touching a person. So if you generalize the entire issue,
do you not believe that a distinction perhaps could be made between those that you're talking of as heinous crimes and the rest? Is that not a valid distinction?
Distinction in the sense that you cannot lower the age of a child and make the distinction. You can at best say that yes, it is an aberration of a sort, and you cannot generalize and say that a rape has taken place, and because of one case of rape taking place, that the entire age has to come down to 16. So what about the rest of the children?
I'm sorry,
where they should be getting the benefit of the Juvenile Justice Act.
The percentage of rapes that have increased amongst juveniles is coming to almost as much as 180%. That is what we are talking about. How many get reported to the Juvenile Justice Board or otherwise, I don't know. But these are the figures that are coming across. In some cases,
in fact, the Supreme Court quoted the Crime Records Bureau today.
You are looking at the figures, but you are not looking at the intent, the extent of the crime that has happened. You are just looking at the figures. That's what I'm trying to tell you, that in 37 rape cases that we have got amongst 252, in there only 2 can be taken as severe case of sexual molestation, and the rest is attempt to rape where we can.
I'm
easily
sorry,
say that
I don't
at this
understand
age,
how the
attack
distinction
from, you know,
is important. Is attempt to rape not an equally heinous crime as the rape? You actually, I'm sorry, you'd be almost saying, let the rape happen only, then we
I'm
will look
talking
into
to
it.
Attempt to rape.
Attempt to rape means you tried everything within your power.
No, you're
but
not
it failed
understanding.
for other
You are
reasons.
not,
That
you
is
are
what
not
the legal
understanding what I'm trying to
definition
tell
is.
you.
I'm sorry. I mean,
When I'm telling you attempt to rape, that doesn't mean it's sexual molestation. That means touching a person. Because a police will
you
put
just said attempt to
376
rape.
and
Attempt to
then
rape
511
is
and then
done
Well,
within your powers.
let's go beyond just rape. Today, the court, Kiran Bedi, quoted the
When-
Crime
no,
Records
I'm
Bureau.
talking about what the police gives us. I'm
Yes.
trying to tell you what the police is giving us.
Okay,
in
fair
the charge
point,
sheet.
Mr. Roy. Let me
But
just
when
bring in
we are
Kiran Bedi
finding
also
out
at this
doing an
point.
inquiry,
The court saying the
investigation,
number of
and when the
crimes
judgment
committed
comes
by
out,
juveniles
we
in the
see
country.
that
Yes, ma'am, we will come back to you. Just give me a moment.
Pardon?
The number of crimes committed by juveniles come to about 2% of the country's crime rate. And they went on to say that there is not enough data to make out a case for exceptions. But if we look at the statistics, aren't the maximum number of juvenile crimes actually committed by those who are between the ages of 16 and 18?
Look, the figures I have is 64% of all juvenile criminals fall within 16 to 18 years.
Right.
Interestingly, the data also reveals that 5.7% of juveniles arrested were only 5.7 were homeless. That means here is the maximum. 2 out of every 3 crimes almost is coming from the age group of 16 to 18. And secondly, most of them, barring let's say less than 6%, are all coming from their parents. That means they're not homeless. They're not homeless. Only 5.7% are homeless. I have this piece of art. Fortunately, it was in my library. The point is, I'm for not a mechanical approach. I'm for a victim. Not just the crime. Look at the victim, not the accused. When you look at only the accused, then you look at him as a juvenile. But when you look at a crime and its impact on society, then you make the age flexible, as has been done in America, United Kingdom, France, Germany, Canada.
Bipasha Roy, respond to that. In that age group 16 to 18, can a case in fact be made that, is there anything wrong with the possibility that you can try this on a case-by-case basis?
That's right. It needs a case-by-case basis. Let the magistrate decide.